That's okay.
But welcome to the Wellness and Lifestyle Show with Cheyenne. This show is all about inspiring and encouraging women to take good care of themselves, especially at this time during coronavirus, but just in life to have good wellness, self-care, and to not put yourself last on your list of priorities. And I have with me today a very special guest, someone who I've known. We were just calculating the years. We've come up with about 15 years. This is
Hello.
Alex Durant. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Hi, happy to be here.
Welcome. Great to have you here. So why don't I just share with everyone quickly how we know each other.
Sure.
So we met in Miami, over a decade ago, and you were and still are really in the event business. And
Right.
when I had you as a consultant as part of our team, I always felt like you were such a great asset to me and the team. It was great to have you. And now, fast forward all these years, and here we are during coronavirus, and the event industry is taking like a huge hit because of coronavirus. And I learned a little bit about how you're doing this pivot and taking care of yourself. And I just love your story. So maybe share with everyone, just to start out, like, how did coronavirus really affect your business when this first happened? I guess March, right?
Right. So I do sponsor management for large festivals across the country, and I also do auction production for nonprofits. Obviously, all events got canceled, postponed, delayed, mostly canceled. So I'm in essence out of work right now through the end of the year. As far as I know, I have one project happening in October, and that is it.
Oh, well.
Otherwise, everything else, these are contracts I work on for 6 months per contract. So everything's just canceled, and it left me with a lot of time on my hands, and
Right.
used to working tons of hours a week on countless emails and conference calls. So I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? And it really just ignited this passion, my passion for dance. I have a degree in dance education, and I started, making fun little dance videos and posting them on my social media just as like something to do. And that also has been teaching me a lot of tricks and tips on how to, use iMovie and just learning different things. So I've just been trying to fill my time. And then that moved forward into, I really had this idea of creating this movement flow class. It's kind of a combination of my dance background and my 20 plus years of going to yoga classes and everything else I've just experienced with dance and in my life. And I finally sat down, took the time to formalize it, and started teaching on my back deck to some of my neighbor friends with proper social distancing, of course.
Right.
And it's just been so great. I mean, it's, casual right now. I haven't made it into an official business or, promoted it in any way, but it's been really fun just to teach again and to do a class in my style, pulling from all the different influences that I've had throughout the years.
Oh my gosh. So when you decided you were going to like actually teach a class on your back deck,
Yep.
so was this like just like an evolution of a mindset you came to because
I've
stopped working, or
always
was there a certain thing that happened that made it click, or did it just kind of come to you naturally, like, you're just going to pivot and roll into this other thing that you have a talent for?
Right. It kind of just came naturally. It's kind of been how I've gotten through everything in life. I mean, I remember sitting in the audience of a dance performance when I was a senior in college and watching a woman perform a solo show. And I was like, I could do that. And after I graduated college, I did do that. I produced a show,
You
I
did.
raised all the money, and that's how I moved to New York. Then
Oh
when,
my gosh.
I lived in New York, I worked for a company doing auctions for them. And when we got transferred to Miami, I thought, well, I can do this on my own. Sure enough, I did. Started Durant
And
Consulting,
you
and here
did.
I am 15 years later. So I've always been kind of a go-getter and just think, if I see something that I have any experience in, I figure if they can do it, why can't I do that for myself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Terry says hello, and Erin Watson says hi. Alexandria
Awesome.
Durant is the best, so she must know you.
Erin has taken a few of my
Welcome,
classes. She's
ladies.
one of
Good to have
my
you.
back deck students.
Oh, good. All right. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you're also a mom, you're a businesswoman, you're a mom. So my next question is, really, I'm looking to share with women like how we're all taking care of ourselves at this time. And so you've
Right.
kind of semi sort of answered that already. But when I had asked you, when you shared your story with me about what you were doing and how you've kind of made this pivot to reignite an old hobby, an old passion, I love that you shared something with me. You said something like you realized you could use this time either, to be lazy and sit
Yeah.
around and kind of do nothing, or you could use the time really to your advantage to really
Yeah.
take care of yourself and, make yourself as healthy as possible. So I
Right.
love that. So maybe just share a little bit of that mindset with
I
us.
mean, that was a very nice way to say it because I think I said to you in a very crude way. When this first happened, I literally turned to my husband and said, people are either going to come out of this super fit or super fat. And I want to be
Right.
super fit. So, that
Right.
first week of us staying at home and schools being canceled, we did a detox, like a superfoods cleanse together. And that really kicked off, I feel for me, my whole mindset for the rest of this time that we've been staying at home and working from home and exercising at home. So it helped
Mm-hmm.
change, like we've been eating healthfully, we've been drinking a lot of water, we've been doing more, I think it would have happened anyway, just
Mm-hmm.
being home together, but we've been doing family bike rides, family walks around the neighborhood. Um, my son and I even set up a little fitness obstacle course in our front yard early on, like week 2 or 3. We filmed it and we made it so each station was really far apart. We filmed a little video that said, here's we have a little fitness course for our neighborhood friends. Here's what you do at each station, so you don't have to touch anything. And we
Right.
texted it to just a few of our close friends, and it was so cute to see like neighbors come by. We're watching them out the front window doing our little fitness course.
I
So
love
also
it.
trying to get him involved with, this is an important part of our lifestyle is to be healthy and to take advantage of just being outside and working
And
out.
doing it together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
doing it together. So, what maybe do you have any kind of tips or advice for maybe anyone who's thinking, you know, maybe they're not qualified to make this pivot? Maybe they had, that passion 20 years ago and whatever it is, and they haven't done it since then, or they've always wanted to kind of think about starting a new hobby or starting even a new business. And maybe just, I love that you kind of taken some baby steps. You're explored it as a hobby, and now then you
Right.
started doing your classes on your back deck, and now you're, looking at, okay, maybe taking it to the next level. So maybe just, any advice for someone who is feeling hesitation, maybe kind of feeling some of the same things. Well, I could do this or I could do that. I'm also good at X and Y and Z, but I've never really done it in a formal way. So, maybe just share, any tips or advice you would have.
I think right now is take advantage of all the downtime that we have. Just if you think maybe I could do this, just try it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like you have to I haven't put a website together for me teaching on my back deck and gotten a domain name or anything like that. I'm just doing fun classes. So see if you have a buddy that might walk with you or talk it through with you. And it's just now's the time to take advantage of this downtime and don't let it continue to lag. It doesn't matter if you haven't danced in 20 years like I had, or it's now I'm doing it again. So you can bring it
Mm-hmm.
back or start fresh. Everyone says all you have to
Mm-hmm.
do if you haven't run a marathon before is just start small, run around the block or walk
Mm-hmm.
around the block, then start to
Mm-hmm.
run, then take another block. So, like you said, it's baby steps and it's really just kind of forcing yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm. Just forcing yourself to do
Force
it. I
yourself to
love
do it
that.
with a positive mindset. you know.
The positive mindset. Yeah. And I love that you're kind of taking like a family approach to it. You've really, engaged your son in this and, making it like just integrating it as part of your lifestyle.
Right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
even
I
the
love
other
that.
day
Okay. So
he
what about,
yep.
go ahead, finish.
I was going to say even the other day he did a little bit of like acrobatic yoga with me on the back deck that we filmed. That was really fun. He got into it. So
He
anything,
sounds more
anything I can do.
advanced than I am.
I mean, that's the other
Sounds
thing.
far
Like
more
right
advanced than I
now,
am.
you can go online and do any kind of fitness program you want for free. Everyone's doing
Right.
workout
Yep.
classes. So, I mean, I've jumped onto a bunch of those. It's been great to just see someone, I can go to yoga classes all the time in town, but now I'm taking from people in New York City that I wouldn't have that access to. So I'm taking advantage of that. I've done dance classes with a guy that has a really famous studio in LA. I mean, and it's all free. Just
Yeah.
tap into what makes you happy and what gets your body moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay, now what about just in general, not just like the physical kind of fitness piece? Like, what about, so this show is also, it's about women just, prioritizing their own care, taking care of themselves, not just physically, but emotionally,
Right.
mentally, and it sounds like, you've really got a good handle on, tapping into your passions and, in integrating this into your family life. So, advice you have for women, especially moms, or tips you have for ways that they can take care of themselves right now. Maybe even if doing, virtual fitness classes, maybe they don't even like that. I've heard that from
Right.
some people too, like, they don't really like doing virtual classes. So maybe any tips you have on just, women, especially moms, taking good care of themselves right now holistically.
Well, I mean, I even sometimes I have to schedule when I can go on my own private walk
Mm-hmm.
around the neighborhood. I have to make sure I
Yeah.
either find out if my husband's going to leave work later on in the morning and I can do it before he goes so that he's home with my son, or when he gets home from work, sometimes he does cook dinner every night. So while he cooks, and I know I'm very spoiled on that respect, while
That
he
is
cooks
nice.
dinner, I'll say, hey, how long before we eat do I have time just for 30 or 45-minute walk? That's
Yeah.
my personal time because, yeah, I've been home with my son all day. He's doing Zoom classes. I'm having to be a homeschooler, which is a whole job in itself. I should be paid $1 million. And then I need my time to decompress after that. And you have to take time for yourself. So, yes, we do love to do things as a family,
Yeah.
but I also need to find that alone time. So sometimes, that walk around the neighborhood is just time for me to be away, listen to a great podcast, listen
Yeah.
to some great music. It's also, once
Yeah.
things start to open up, I will be scheduling like a massage to take care of my body because I'm just a person that needs that.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's funny you say, you take your alone time walk because on last week's show that I did, I shared what my kind of non-negotiables are now for my own self-care. And so I really only have two. I try to keep the list really short to keep my expectations low.
Right.
But my number one non-negotiable every day is that I take a walk. And it's just, sometimes it's a slow walk. Sometimes it's kind of fast paced. I want to get my heart rate up. Sometimes it's just like a
Right.
slow, enjoyable walk just to have some alone time. But that is like one of my non negotiables that I do every single day. And I only started that just last year. And I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I look
Right.
back and think I find I get so much enjoyment out of it. And that's part of what launched my walking group and what launched this show. But just the simplicity of being able to just put on my sneakers and go for an alone walk. I mean, that has really done wonders for me. So ladies, especially those of you watching, if you're feeling overwhelmed, my advice to you also is to just go for a little walk each day. I find it just so refreshing and so rewarding. Of course, if you're in an area where you can do that, if it's not, a heavily congested area right now, go for a walk. That's my number one self-care tip.
My
I
other
love
one
that
is
you're
to
walking too, Al.
drink water. I am very guilty of not drinking enough water each day. For a long time, I even had a Post-it on my computer screen that just said, drink water, like constant reminder. Just, it's just so good for your body overall and your skin and everything.
Yeah. I'm probably guilty of that. That should be on my non-negotiable list. But my second item on my non-negotiable list is to eat something green every day, which I've been doing a pretty good job of. I feel like having the mindset of adding to rather than taking away when it comes to my wellness, that works really well for me. I know different things work for different people, but to add something green to my day every day, to not go a day without eating something green. So I try to accomplish those two things.
Yeah.
But hydration is huge. My husband is a runner and a marathoner, and he is always talking about hydration, and he walks around the house asking us how much water we had to drink.
That's great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Mary Grace says impressive drive. Wow. And Brenda Durant says, don't be afraid to just start. That's a great advice. And Ed Durant says, you are amazing.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
It's great to have you all on live. Thanks. I thought that might be your dad. That sounds like a very nice dad thing to say. So any other tips or thoughts you'd want to share with women who are watching? Men are watching too, but especially for women, because we tend to have, we're, I think, the most guilty of, putting everything else on our list of priorities and then kind of putting our own self-care down at the bottom of the list and sometimes not getting to it. So any last words of advice, Alex?
I mean, I think another, your friend circle and your friends are another part of self-care. They can be a sounding board. They can boost you up. You can share some laughs, and all of that is just so good for the soul. So I do definitely connect with all my friends a lot, not even just during this time, but in all the time. So I think that's important.
So
have your circle.
It really is. Relationships are so important. And one tip I heard the other day, it was on a podcast, and it's escaping me right now, where I would credit the name of the podcast. I can't remember which one it was I was listening to, but someone on the podcast suggested right now is a good time as you're, to kind of take a very proactive approach to, keeping relationships alive in your life. And one really easy way he or she suggested was to once a day check in with someone in your network, a friend, family member, a coworker, but just once a day, try to find, 5 or 10 minutes to check in with one person. And I thought, oh gosh, that's really doable, to check in with one person every day. And over, a number of weeks or months, it's a great way to keep, to stay connected and stay close to people who might be outside of your very, your super inner circle, right? Your immediate family and your best buddies. But to reach out to one person a day, I thought that was really nice relationship kind of self-care advice.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
We have a little text chain in our group, and we call it the Mom Squad. And everyone can share, frustrations or jokes or what's going on with cancellations or, any news. So it's been really fun to be part of that too.
Is that like moms in your neighborhood or moms from every? Mostly
in our neighborhood. Our kids are all go to the same school.
Oh, that's really nice. You have that too. That's a great idea. So you know what? Maybe an idea for someone, if they don't have that, is to start a little, a group of other moms in your neighborhood to have a little kind of texting communication to keep it easy, right? And keep it, low pressure, but to be able to stay in touch with other moms in your neighborhood or moms of your friends your children's friends, that's what I'm trying to say, other moms of your children's friends can be good to stay in touch with too. So I love that you have your little text group of moms to stay in touch with too.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Great. Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much. Do you want to share with anyone anything about your classes, or maybe share your Instagram handle or wherever you're sharing, teaching your yoga and dance classes online?
I haven't really started teaching them online yet, but that may
Okay.
come soon. Who knows? You might be my prompt to
Awesome.
do that. But and then
All
I
right.
post
Well, when
most
you
stuff
do,
on
we can
my
also drop
Instagram.
that in when you do. Oh,
Exactly.
good. Okay. And what's your Instagram? Do you want to share
It's
that?
at Alex Bash Durant.
Alex-Durant.
Bash,
on
Bash Durant.
Oh, oops. All right. We will put it here in the comments
Great.
so everyone can follow you. Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much for for being on this show with me, and it's great to be connected with you, to stay connected, to reconnect in this new way after all of these years, and wishing the best for you and your family and your new wellness journey.
Thank you. I'm so glad you let me join your walking group, and this has been really fun.
Awesome. Anyone who's watching, if you want a little, ladies, if you want a little encouragement to take that walk every single day, you can join my free Facebook group. It's a virtual walking club. So if you look up in Facebook groups, it's called Life in the Walking Lane. And we all just encourage each other to take that walk every day, and even to share photos of, pretty things we see along our walk. So it's free and easy if you want a little encouragement. So Alex, thanks again for being here, and we'll stay in touch. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.